Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq, with daily insight on the Nasdaq100 Index, or the NDX, which is made up of 100 of the largest domestic and international non-financial innovative companies listed on Nasdaq. The NDX has been the barometer for U.S. large cap growth and also one of the best performing indexes over the last decade and a half, not to mention one of the most liquid index ecosystems in the world. Joining us this Friday afternoon, we have Sara, Mehle, ESG Index Strategist with Nasdaq Global Indexes, to discuss what was behind July's performance, its best since April 2020. Sara, it's great to have you back. Welcome to Trade Talks, and let's take a look at your first slide here, and we can see just how well the index performed.
Hey, Jill. Yeah, so just looking back at performance since that recent 52-week low for the Nasdaq100 Index that was printed on June 16th, we've seen the Nasdaq100 Index rally about 18%, and that's taking into account today's pullback of about 1%. But yeah, we saw that gain in July. We saw that gain exceed any gain that we've seen since April of 2020. We've seen this performance recently driven by technology, and even with the backdrop of potential recession fears, inflation levels, geopolitical tensions, we've really seen just this strong rally from those lows. And, we've seen significant outperformance when compared to other major market benchmarks, such as the S&P 500 and the Dow Jones. We've almost doubled that of the Dow and outpacing the S&P 500 by about 6%.
And Sara, where would you attribute the performance to?
Yeah, so looking back just looking at the performance since June 16th, we've really seen the technology sector account for the majority of the gain, so 10%, almost 11%, followed by consumer discretionary and healthcare. In fact, all sectors that we account for in the Nasdaq100 Index are attributing or have contributed positively. Basic materials, they're down, contributing just a little bit, but it is a positive return. So just within the stocks, Apple, that largest holding within the Nasdaq100, has contributed the most, followed by Amazon and Tesla. And Tesla is up almost 44% since that June 16th level. So we've seen some really strong movers off of the bottom, and in addition to Moderna, that's one of the other top performers in terms of total return data. But again, looking at, these are the top 10 stocks: Apple, Amazon, Tesla, Microsoft, Nvidia, Google, Costco, Qualcomm, and Advanced Micro Devices in terms of attribution or contribution to return to the Nasdaq100 since June 16th.
And let's take a look at the long-term point and figure chart. I believe it was back in June when you had called it out. It is suggesting that we could have some upside from here, and it appears to have played out well.
Yeah, Jill, so I love technical analysis. My background is in point and figure charting, so I watched this chart closely. And I pointed out that bottom there at 11,100, that was that 52-week low there in June. You can see we're well off of those November 21 highs, but this pattern that you can see just visually, even without really knowing exactly how to read this chart, if you knew that red O at the bottom there was that June low, and then we are there at the top, kind of next to that red star, you can just see that positive uptrend. So we recently saw this chart move back into a positive trend for the first time since April. So that's a positive sign, and we're now seeing it trade on 3 consecutive buy signals. And when we zoom in closer to that chart, again, we see those 3 consecutive buy signals. We see that it completed a bullish catapult pattern at 12,750. And again, there's that strong performance of nearly 18% since those 52-week lows.
And finally, Sara, let's take a longer-term view with your point and figure charting.
Yep, so this is zoomed into the chart that we were looking at before. Again, just wanted to call out those 3 consecutive buy signals there, highlighted with little smiley faces, just so you could see exactly those levels. Again, we completed that bullish catapult pattern there at 12,750. We can see that this is where, on the left side of the chart, where we fell into that negative trend. We have come up pretty strongly since those consecutive sell signals. We haven't seen consecutive buy signals like this in well over a year. So we have, this is some good, a good-looking chart that I watch each day. So we're looking for that potential bottom level there at 11,100. From here, we have overhead resistance to move through at 13,500. That's going back to May. And then we have additional support or additional resistance, around the 14,250 level. So, we're slowly making our way up there. And I do want to call out that even with today's pullback, we didn't see this chart reverse down into O's. So even though today might have felt maybe not so great just because we have seen some stronger days, it wasn't enough to cause a reversal on this chart, which is what we like to see.
All right, Sarah, excellent work. Thanks so much for joining us on Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.